So this is what's going on. Okay, I got this plan in my imagination. All right, and I am trying to convey this plan to you. Let's put a smile on the little dude. All right, I'm trying to convey this plan to you, and you know, may have a different idea. So it's difficult because your plan may look different than my plan, but it's still a plan in your mind. So what I'm doing is try to lay it out as clear as possible. And I'm using action, something that's down here that we both can see and we can agree on, and facts, which are both down here that we both can see and agree on, to help solidify that we're on the same page. Right? So these things that I have in my plan are, as you would say in the slang term, extra, right? I think about things normal people don't. So my plan has things that aren't in an average plan. There's nothing wrong with an average plan. I'm just saying I am trying to do things that are not in the norm of what is in mainstream, pretty much. So the things that I want to do for humanity, the things that I want to experience, are not things that are looked upon favorably in your society. But at any rate, these are the things that will move the society forward. And we'll see. We'll see if this plan and these actions make those facts. This is what I want to create. So I'm taking my plan through action, making facts, something that actually is happening and that happened, right? So this is, creating the future, basically. Right? So this plan is creating the future. And I want that plan to be shared. And I want you to understand it, because once you understand it and you see that the future that we create contains these things, you'll be like, wait a minute, I want a piece of that. And then you'll help with the plan, right? You'll see that there's a quality, right? So it's hard to convey that. This is just one way of doing it, just trying to be, creative. And I'm not spelling right, definitely. Creative. And we're keeping all the mistakes. It's we're not trying to be extra. The attention that I am trying to get now is to put a light on the plan so that you can see the plan, and you can see me, the guy with the plan, because the plan involves you, right? Because I need you to look into also question, right? We all have to do that. And it involves your action too, because your action creates the future. That's how it happens, right? With our plans, with our thoughts, with the things that don't exist, the non-physical, right? When you create an action, most of the time it's premeditated, it's thought of, it's a thought, right? And then you take the action and it makes it happen, it makes it a fact, you create reality. And this is what we call reality. It just consists of action, facts, and what's happening. I mean, that's it. But there's things outside of reality that created. These things are the things that the plan that I have involves, because those are the things that create realities, and this is how they create the future. So when I say something like, let's create the reality we, let's go back down, want to experience. Okay, so if we don't want to experience this reality that we have created, then we have to change it. We have to change the actions, because the actions create the reality. So there needs to be a different plan. We can't run the same plan and expect to get different results. It doesn't work that way, right? If it's a good plan, that's cool. If it's not a good plan, that's terrible, because you're not going to change it and you're going to keep getting the same results. That's what Einstein would categorize as insane. You're doing the same thing and you're expecting to get different results. You got to do something different, right? So you look at this. So this plan is to change reality, you know? It's not saving anything, because reality is still here. Reality consists of these things, of the actions, of the facts, of what happened, right? And you can just call this truth, if you will. We'll put that in there. But the thing is, this is reality. Now, in the scientific world, they're questioning whether this is a 3D hologram. That's what Hawkins would say. You got people that think it's digital. That's what Musk would say, Elon, Tesla guy. And there's other people. There's some characters in the scientific world. They don't look at the non-physical thought other realm that is more or outside of reality. So, but this is how it's happening. I mean, if you see it happening a different way, yeah, you may have reactions and stuff like that. But this is how the majority of what's happening has happened. And so when you control what someone thinks, you can control what actions they have. If your thoughts are limited and your thoughts are in a box, then your actions are in a box, and that box is easily controlled, right? So that's why they don't want you to think outside of the box, because now you're uncontrollable, right? So I'm one of those uncontrollables. The thing is, while I'm uncontrollable, I've documented the whole journey, and I put it out there for years to show you, so that when you see this plan, you see that there's a lot of thought behind it, there's a lot of time behind it, there's a lot of action behind it, and everything that I'm telling you is facts. It happened, it's reality, it is truth, it is what I have done, it is what I have created, right? And it includes all of these things, right? And it is for us to be able to create the reality. It's to show you with your actions, we can change this to the reality we want to experience, right? And we can take away the things that we don't want and cut out the things that we don't want to experience. It's up to us. We're the ones that are controlling this ship, and we're on a ship. It's called Spaceship Earth. It's the only thing protecting us in this universe, right? We're made of it. We're made of the universe as well, but let's just say we're made of Earth. Everything that we get is from the Earth. So why do we treat it like there's another one around the block we can get, right? And it's silly to think this way. And I'm talking to you as from a connecting standpoint. But when you look at the facts, these are the same things that anything could find out by researching what they want to research. The thing is, where this comes into play, where it's outside of reality, where it's outside of 3D, where it's outside basically where you can measure. They may measure brain activity, but can they measure a thought? Can they measure the non-physical? This is what's creating this reality, and this is beyond measure. So I forgot where I was going with that. That's creating reality, and it's beyond measure. and they only look at the 3D side of it. So there's more to what's going on than just the 3D aspect of it. You know, that this is the manifestation of this. So to fix this, you have to fix this, right? So that's part of this plan, you know, and it's not a plan that's inside the box. So being out of the box, you're able to change things. So this plan is still going to involve your action, but your action is going to change the future, change reality. And that's what we're here to do. So it's basically like changing the timeline. So you have a trajectory to where you're going like this, right? And basically you're going to go down here and you're going to self-destruct, okay? It's a big mushroom cloud. Like that's where you're going. And this is time, and time is going to tick. And with the choices that we make, right? And I'm writing sideways, but the choices that we make, let me put make in there. The choices that we make create the reality that we experience through this time. So this is what we experience. This is the earth. And what we experience on the earth is totally up to us, right? So we can change it tomorrow if we wanted to. Now, we can get to the point where we destroy ourselves. That's the only ones we're going to destroy. The earth will be okay. We'll destroy ourselves, but how stupid is that, right? That we're supposed to be intelligent, but the only thing that we're able to do is create things that destroy each other and destroy the planet. And there's so much separation, and we don't see the natural beauty that's already in front of us. It's a crazy world that we live in. But we also have the ability to still tell the story to the whole universe, how we changed it from being all the way down here to making the jump to basically another potential. And you still have the same time, and this is still us, but it's a different world. You know, this is what I'm calling the new, oh man, I don't even know how to spell it, the new Renaissance, right? So this is where we make the change, us right here. This is where we are. This is where I am. And there's people watching, and there's people listening, and there's a whole lot going on. And once this gets out, once we understand that we make reality, and it's up to us to change it, no one else, and you have an example of how to do it. This is what I'm showing you, just my example. We'll see how we learn from this, because I'm going to change my reality. I'm going to take my personal, my personal story from here. I wasn't going to self-destruct. It was just like most people, you continue to work a 9 to 5, and then you retire and die. Like that's pretty much, again, the normal story. But I've already elevated to another level, and I'm continuing to grow it myself. And during that, I've left breadcrumbs, and the breadcrumbs have been, I don't want to just say breadcrumbs, I've basically just documented the journey along the way. So where we are here is where this whole getting attention, where the whole 15 minutes of fame come into play, where the whole just really clapping as loud as we can to get attention to the plan, what was there before, to change reality, for us to make a shift. And this is the shift, right? This is it. This is what's happening. This is the wave that we're going to surf. And it's a wave of consciousness that's going to take us here. It's like we're going to be surfing this wave. And that's a surfer. But yeah, that's it. That's the wave. That's what's coming. It's going to take Earth from this to this. So this is what we are a part of. This is, in my opinion, why we are here, because no one can create reality but us. It's only done through action. So who else can create action but us? A lot of things can happen in the non-physical, but no one can create action but us, because we have a part of us that is 3D, that is physical, that we control, you know. So this world, and yeah, I know even in the 3D, you want to look at that. It's mostly empty space, so that's where science gets into the whole: is it digital or is it a hologram? Um, all of this stuff. Is it a matrix? Yeah, you can go into all of those different rabbit holes, and that's something you can do as well. But I guess that's a rabbit. I don't know, what is that? Is that a rabbit? I guess we're drawing a rabbit. It's a funny looking rabbit. Anyway, you can go down those rabbit holes, but the thing is, regardless of what it is, we create it and we can change it, and we need to change it, because look at the trajectory that we're on. Look at where we're at. Look at the stupid racism that's still going on now. Let's just talk about something as simple as that. Why do people think because of the color of your skin, right, that you cannot be equal to them in all the ways that they are created, right? Why is that? I definitely would love to speak with someone that would feel that way about myself, so we can have a conversation and I can learn. I'll definitely learn from someone that's that passionate about that level of ignorance. So, and I do commend you for choosing that path. I definitely would love to speak to you, but people need to understand that that's a choice of ignorance. None of that is true. So when someone basically confronts you with the truth, and you choose to believe something otherwise, then that's your choice. You can choose to believe what you want to, but you just can't say it's true. That's all. It's not reality. It's not real. It's not a fact. You just can't say it's a fact. You believe this, and you have nothing to prove to back it up with. Alrighty. So anyway, this is the shift that we're going to ride, and this is what I'm standing up, letting people know about. Like, hey, we're going to, change the actions, and this is going to change the reality. And this reality is about us. It's almost like this is the 1% reality. This is the reality that the 1% wants. And this is the 99% reality. This is a reality that we create for us. And we've been on the timeline of the 1% reality. Just look at what's in Google. Look at what's online. This is the 1% reality. I mean, look at the facts. Look at the statistics. Look at the numbers. You will see that when it comes to wealth, when it comes to money, when it comes to land, or any of the things that deal with basically making this life, money changes a lot. So money is important. You can die if you don't have money, right? So the people that have a lot of it, they don't share, they hoard money. It's interesting to watch. It's like if someone had 1 billion tomato cans, you think they were crazy. Like, why don't you just, why are you holding on to 1 billion tomato cans? There's people that you can feed that tomatoes to, and so what? So you got the most tomato cans. So what? You're not going to take those tomato cans with you. Same thing with money. But you can have billions of dollars and you're looked up to. For what? You're not helping anybody. They hoard the money just to say that they died the richest man in the cemetery. To me, I think that's very silly. Anyway, those people tend to hoard the money for themselves. They don't really share the resources and the wealth and the money and the land, and they continue to get richer while the poor get poorer. That's the story. That's the way that's going to would have taken us down. This is all would have taken us down. That's the way it would have taken us down, to self-destruction. And when you look at the news now, the shutdown and all of this stuff, this is just saying that, hey, and there's people that want to push this down there. I mean, you can look at things like, and I'm not drawing it right, but the Georgia Guidestone, right? Like, who would just put something like that in the middle of the, in Georgia with these things on that are talking about they want to reduce the population, all of this stuff, and it's written all these different languages. How many of y'all are thinking about doing something like that, right? I'm trying to do it anonymously. But anyway, that exists. There exists people that want to depopulate the world and all that stuff. Like, all that exists. There's people that believe that, just like people that believe all kind of crazy stuff. There's people that believe that, people believe crazy stuff. Anyway, prove it. Show me reality. This is reality. This is what we're experiencing. This is what we're not experiencing right now. This is part of the shift. This is where we're going. We are going to experience this. They can still experience that if they want to. It'll just be the 1% experiencing, basically reaping what they sow. They will be waited on by people that are 1%. They will do their own work, all of this stuff. These people will experience something different, So it's going to be a choice. I'm here trying to show people this so that they make that choice to be on this side, because the time now is now to make that choice, because this is a non-physical thing. This is a thought thing. This is changing the way you think so that you can be here and experience this instead of experience that, because this is where the world is going. This is the shift, right? So I know I've explained this a long time. Maybe it didn't seem that long, but looking at the time, it seemed long. I guess it is long. But I appreciate y'all listening. Thanks for the time. Hopefully that explains where we are and where we're going. Just looking at that now, not seeing it be created, it would be, you can explain the points. I think that would be pretty simple to do. But it's interesting to see it now. It makes less sense than it did as we created it. So anyway, that explains that part of it.